How you doing, Longo? I said, how you doing? Woo! Does everybody feel up for some rock and roll tonight? Well, then I just know, this is gonna be a hot night for a little bit of rock and roll music. And judging by some of those girls we got down front, some of those good-looking girls, you can all meet us in the ladies' room.
I didn't know there was a different version.
So hey, Wayne, I don't know if we're recording yet. I'm sure we are, but do me a favor at the end. I'm sure you're going to mention Timeless Haunt at the end.
No.
Yeah, you will.
He's got to be frozen like that.
Indeed.
Welcome to Red Sound Review. Oh, shit. What the fuck is that? Oh, hello, Mr. Unknown.
Am I behind on my Geico payments again?
Yes. Fuck you, Mr. Noggle. Wayne Newton, how you doing, long time, brother?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Actually, not that long. I think I'm on every couple of weeks now, right?
Almost. You're almost a regular. What do we have you on here today?
Well, we're gonna dispute and argue a couple of Kiss albums. One a very popular one, and one a not so very popular one, which happens to be my favorite Kiss album of all time. And no, I am not lying, and I'm probably the only motherfucker on earth that feels that way. Yeah, but we have Kiss Crazy Nights and Kiss
Alive.
There you go. Alive.
My personal favorite album, which I don't think they ever did better than, but
this is a very strange album versus album.
I've got my work cut out for me tonight, no doubt about it. I'm sure I'm the only person on earth who feels this way, but I'm going to make a case.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. All right. Yeah, so you watched, we did a reaction video to Crazy Nights a couple weeks back.
To my dismay, I might add.
Yeah, why?
How dare you tear down such an artistic, great fucking album?
I like that song. This guy over here, he doesn't like it.
That's one of the better ones on here, but yeah, not really my style.
Yeah.
Not your cup of tea, but mainly because you don't like pieces of shit in your tea.
Yeah, pretty much. Wasn't stirring it with Mr. Hanky today.
Can I just start off by saying I am not the biggest Kiss fan on earth. Let that be known. I'm not the biggest Kiss fan on earth. However, they are the reason I am in a metal band today, and I have a true love and passion for heavy fucking metal.
All right, good.
And that was what really made me want to talk about this, because when we did the reaction video and you posted the comments, you said you loved the 70s era too, and then when you came back with Crazy Nights, I flabbergasted.
I like the 70s era, but I also like the Unmasked era, and I love the 80s era. I think that's when Kiss was at their best. Unfortunately, they kind of suffer from a little bit of what I like to call the Metallica effect, where you're used to seeing these masked guys creating songs in a certain way. You got used to that, and then all of a sudden the 80s came around. They took off their fucking makeup, and everybody's going, "Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is this shit?"
Yeah, it was very strange.
However, if Kiss had released these albums, I'm sorry to interrupt, Wayne.
Right.
If Kiss had released these albums and became big in the 80s era, then I think this album would not only stand up, but would be one of Kiss's finest moments.
I don't know, sir. I don't know. I listened to this thing today. I like Kiss. I love Kiss. I got tons of Kiss shit around here. And, it's been a long time since I listened to this album. But like I said before, I love Crazy Nights. I love My Way, even though Greg, he knows that I like that song. He's like, how can you like that song? I think it's cool. It's
a great song. But let's talk about his pick first. Let's go through the tracks.
No. I got it on my mind what I'm going to say.
I'm sorry. Is this your show, Wayne?
It's our show. Still. But Reason to Live, I mean, what an uplifting, catchy song. I mean, come on.
I have
Reason?
something very funny to say about that real quick. So the line where he says everybody's got a dream and a hunger inside.
Yeah.
When I first heard this record when I was a kid and I used to sing along with it, I thought he was saying everybody's got a dream and a whole girl inside. And I was like, what does that mean?
So you kind of admitted there that you did listen to this as a kid, and I think you kind of enjoyed it back then. I think your palate's kind of changed, though.
I did more so, and what the reason this album has been so prominent in my mind is because a buddy of mine and Wayne's, Keith Apt, he did a post on his hub page thing where he re-listened to this record, and I was like, oh no, that seems kind of harsh. You know, I remember Kulik had a pretty big presence on it, and it wasn't all bad. And he goes, have you listened to it since you were in junior high? Well, no, and I was just very disappointed. And
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, if you... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it was worse than I remembered, which I found odd. But I have to say, even the songs I don't like, I really think Bruce Kulick shines on here. And even though, you know, I definitely nowhere near even my top 10 of Kiss, it plays well altogether. You know, you can listen to it pleasantly without really wanting to skip something.
Right.
Except maybe for when the walls come tumbling down, but overall, it's not a bad song. There's just a really annoying verse in the middle of that when he's saying you got to look before you leap. That doesn't make any sense at all, but okay.
You gotta look before you pee.
The thing that I hate the most actually about that song is that stupid chorus. When the walls come tumbling down, he says it like 3 times, and when he says it the first time, you'd think he would like have like a line after that, but it's just silence, and then he says it again. I'm like,
I don't
hello?
even pay attention to the vocals there because the riff that Bruce plays is so cool.
It's just, I don't know. I didn't like
Well,
that song.
that's one thing I was going to bring up there when I cut you off earlier was Bruce Kulick was probably the hardest working guy in Kiss in that era. And admittedly, even Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons have admitted that Gene was basically absent at that period of time because he was off doing his whole movie producer, actor type thing. And as a matter of fact, him and Paul almost had a falling out because of Gene's non-presence during that era, as where there was a famous story where I believe Paul had to confront Gene about it. And Gene was really cool about it. He had admitted that he was absent and that he was still reaping the benefits of the album. And I remember Ron Nevison, he produced the album, which was the only album at the time that Kiss had ever used a producer on. He was famous for making Heart and Ozzy Osbourne albums that went platinum, which is why they used him, and they wanted a more poppy, more friendly sound. I don't know what I was getting to there, but yeah, I lost my train of thought.
I don't know. But let me finish before you cut me off here. Turn on the Night's probably my favorite song off here besides Crazy.
Oh!
Crazy. I love that song. You don't like that one either?
No.
But the one that really surprised me is I'll Fight Hell to Hold You.
Oh, great tune.
That's a great, great song.
No, No, No might be my favorite, though. That is the most, if you want to consider it thrashy or hard or heavy. No, No, No. What a great riff. Great lead in the beginning, all throughout. Kills it in that.
I don't like that one.
And actually, that's one of the only songs on here where I truly enjoy the synths and think they sound good in it. Is I'll Fight Hell to Hold You. That's a great song.
Now, are you one of these guys who doesn't like synth in their music, or is it just this particular album, or what is it?
This particular album and how it sounds on here and how it's produced. It sounds almost unfinished to me, almost like some of it was a working demo, and I'm not crazy about it. There's quite a few songs on here that, while I don't like particularly care for them on here. I think if, say, they were given a Journey or someone like that and done by them, they'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get my agreement there. Some of the album, or some of that album would have been greater, held up the better time with a newer recording and a better recording. I mean, Gene's bass is basically non-existent through the whole thing. So, you know.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the big things about his songs on all the '80s records. You can tell his mind was elsewhere, and he sounds so disinterested sometimes. Like "Good Girl Gone Bad," I actually think is a pretty good song. It's just done poorly here. He sounds phoned in, and if it was played a little bit more aggressively, I think it'd be a classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of his better vocal performances, actually, in any Kiss song he's done. Besides Cold Gin, of course, which I love.
That is a good song.
I really enjoy Fits Like a Glove as well. I think he sounds really good there.
He does. He does.
But you know what it is with No. I don't like the double bass. I don't like when Kiss does double bass. I do not like double bass in Kiss.
Awesome.
It does not sound right.
Wow.
Any double bass Kiss song, really, I don't know. I can't think of one that I would like.
Did you like Revenge? Do you like the Revenge album?
Yeah, I like the Revenge. Is there another double bass song? I can't think off the top of my head. Like,
oh boy,
like a good song. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. But yeah, that's why I do not like that. And Bang Bang You is retarded. And,
yeah, that's probably the worst song on the album.
Yeah, I would say
agreed.
So. That's one where I can't find anything redeeming about. That's like a filler track, really.
Yeah, it's no good. But other than that, I mean, it's got its cool songs. I don't like the production. It's very trebly. It's just like too high with the too bright sounding.
It's very bright with the bass for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
No doubt about it. But if you put that to the side, I also wanted to mention they on their supporting tour during this album, they played a lot of the songs off of Crazy Nights, but the fans just couldn't get into it. Eventually, they cut it down to just Crazy Nights, and then they eventually cut that out of the tour too. So it doesn't bode well for my case here.
No.
And maybe it's a little bit of a childhood nostalgia. Because I believe it's funny, this record released 9/18/87? Yeah, 9/18/87. Kiss Alive was released 9/10/75, which is 22 years and 2 days later, or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
12 years.
It makes me feel really fucking old. But anyway, it came out around a time when I was probably in my teens, and I think my cousin left the album at the house, and I stole it from him, and it's a childhood thing too,
Yeah. Is this your first Kiss album?
No, Destroyer was my first one.
Oh, okay.
Destroyer on 8-track.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Might have been my dad's, which is weird because he was a big country western fan. I don't know why he had the album, but it looked cool, so I threw it in. So
yeah, I did like the cover. It's a cool cover, with the band on the front. Yeah, it's one of my favorites from this era of the band. The other ones are stupid looking. Asylum's terrible looking. And the
it's animalized. Jesus.
Oh yeah, it's bad. But
say this is Lick It Up looks bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's terrible because what's his name's head's not even like his real head, so it's just it's bad. Or that's his real head, but his body. I mean.
Yeah, they superimposed Vinny's head over a mannequin body.
That album, it was almost called Who Dares Wins.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they actually cut it because it didn't look right in print, so they made it Crazy Nights last second.
Oh, yeah. So. Since this is your favorite Kiss album, I mean, why? Like, what's some of your favorite songs over here?
Well, my favorite song is probably No, No, No off the album, and then you got Thief in the Night. I love Thief in the Night. I like those dark tunes. Man, what was bad? I'll Fight Hell to Hold You. It was fucking fantastically written. Maybe they didn't write it, but it was a great fucking song. Good Girl Gone Bad was good. Turn On the Night was good. Reason to Live was probably my second favorite song on the album. Really good ballad. I know Gene wasn't big on ballads, but fuck him. It was a great album. It was a great song. Oh, it was a great song. It was mom rock. It was poppy, but it's not like today's pop standards where it's a bunch of shit. I mean, if this album released today, I mean, I think we'd be maybe not swooning over it, but I think it would have been well received if it had been put out later. And like I said, it would have been better received had Kiss become big in the 80s and if a band like I don't know, Skid Row or Firehouse or someone like that released this album would have been massive. As a matter of fact, it went to number 4 in the UK, and it stayed at number 4 for a while. This album, Kiss album was the let me get my notes right here. Was
sold the most out of any other 80s albums.
It peaked at number 18 in Billboard, and it was the highest charted Kiss album of the 80s, believe it or not.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yes.
But
Kiss wasn't known for Billboard top, charting songs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, the success that they had without that.
Yeah. What about you, Greg? I mean, I know you don't really care for this album, but there's got to be some other standout tracks that you like on here. Or something.
Well, the best one is definitely No No No. That's just a good, fast, aggressive rocker. But really, for me on that, it's a 1-2 punch. No 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 and Hell or High Water. I think that's another great song. And that one, I actually love how Gene sings it. Sounds very menacing.
Yeah.
Goes right along with Kulik's riffs and leads. That's a cool song.
Yes, sir.
And then, see, the thing about Thief in the Night is, I like the song. I don't like this version of it because I heard the Wendy O. Williams song first.
I was going to mention that. Good. You did your homework.
Had no idea.
Oh, yeah. I had that Wendy. Well, I got the Wendy O. Williams album originally, even found out the Plasmatics because I found out Vinny wrote a couple of songs that they did on there. And then, well, basically it was Wendy O. Williams and Kiss.
Yeah.
But, I used to be nuts for that guy before, things happened. And anyway.
So would you agree that Bruce Kulick was the best guitar player that Kiss has had?
I would say that, yes. I believe so.
In terms of skill and the way he played, feel, songwriting?
It's tough to say. Because Vinnie Vincent really wrote a lot of different types of songs for a lot of different people and could really play. I mean, he really never showcased that in any of his solo bands, but I almost feel him and Bruce are pretty even.
Okay.
But I'd give the edge to Bruce because he was the better songwriter overall.
I think he was the hardest worker in that band too.
Vinny, if he doesn't have someone to contrast him and help him write the song, it seems he can't finish it. Bruce is great on his own.
Yeah. Now, how about drums? Eric Carr, feel the same way?
Eric, I think, was hands down their best drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's even better than the singer, and I don't really understand why that's an argument because Eric Singer is good, but I mean, Eric Carr's double bass work here. He does a lot of cool things on the drums, Him and Bruce really shine on this and Asylum. Although, this is a better listen than Asylum.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. But, so, Kiss Alive. What?
But mostly, I think this would be better if the production was better. I feel like some of it comes off kind of soulless, and then there's just there's a couple spots where it really loses me, like My Way and Turn on the Night, which Diane Warren should have done it, not Kiss. Because if you turn that into an R&B track, a late 80s one, it'd probably be pretty killer, but,
It's repetitive.
Yeah. With all that said, if Bon Jovi would have released this as their first record, this would have been just as popular as Slippery Than Wet. Crazy Nights would be your Living on a Prayer.
Yeah, that was my point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Crazy Crazy Nights is much less annoying than Living on a Prayer.
Let it be
Bon
known,
Jovi
it is
sucks.
Crazy Crazy Nights. It is not Crazy Nights. It is Crazy
Yes,
Crazy
crazy,
Nights.
crazy nights.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Anybody
But-
know? Did they drop the Crazy? Did they drop one of the Crazies eventually?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
was it always
Just-
Crazy Crazy Nights?
The album is called Crazy
They
Nights. The song is
did-
called Crazy Crazy Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You
Okay.
know, that's interesting though, because I feel like I've seen the video with just the title "Crazy Nights"
I'm
before.
pretty sure I have too, which is why I asked.
Yeah.
I do not know that answer.
That's probably MTV. Everyone was on cocaine in the 80s.
all right, and then we get to Kiss Alive.
Alive.
Oh, yeah, come on and love me.
Come on, love me. I mean, this is basically just the best of that era Kiss. And
Oh yeah, and that's why I was saying I really didn't want to do it as verses because it's a
unfair.
live greatest hits against a
Yeah.
transitional album for that. Really, it's just.
It's unfair for me, that's for sure.
it totally is.
But what really made me wonder here, is I always thought Kiss was pretty catchy, and whether their fans want to admit it or not, as heavy as they played, a lot of it was pop rock tunes because, I Come On and Love Me is one of the prime examples. I love that song.
Kisco.
And just comparatively, I get they're both more like commercial songs. I just didn't see how you could pick
Crazy Nights.
Crazy Nights over Come On and Love Me or well, no, Black Diamond's a really unfair comparison. Oh, that was another thing I was going to say. I feel like Crazy Nights could have been helped out by letting Eric sing, like they used to let Peter do.
On which songs? Because Paul is singing pretty high in most of them.
Yeah, that was one thing that did annoy me. He was singing way too high in a lot of those songs.
He didn't like that. Okay.
I'd like to hear Eric do Thief in the Night.
I was going to say Thief in the Night probably because
Yeah.
it would fit his.
Because he used to do Under the Gun live. I have that on that Animalize show, and he sounds
Really?
awesome doing it. Yeah, and he does Young and Wasted too.
Wow. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
send
sure I
it
can
your
look
way.
that up.
He used to sing
It,
Beth, I
it
think,
should
too,
be
didn't
on
he?
YouTube,
Sometimes.
but before I sold the Laserdisc, I turned it into MP3s and stuck it on my computer. Because who the fuck owns a Laserdisc player anymore?
I never had one.
They used to let him sing Beth, no?
Probably. Didn't a whole band singing at
Yeah.
one time?
No, I don't know.
Well, they were kind of trying to make a new image for themselves during most of the 80s, so I don't think that was actually performed on very many of the tours outside of maybe Hot in the Shade.
That's all I remember him doing that. So yeah, Kiss Alive, like I said, this is like the best of Kiss album. I mean, every song on here is fucking awesome, and
It's a classic.
and some of them are played even better than on the actual albums themselves. I mean,
Yeah, Deuce, Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse sounds amazing here. Even Nothing to Lose, which is really a pretty lame song on the record, really benefits from being cranked up a notch here.
right.
And, I mean, you got the solos and She and Watching You.
She was the only one I kind of didn't like because I felt like they slowed it down a little too much on this one compared to the album version.
A lot of this stuff was re-recorded because of all the flubs that they made, like running into mic stands and not singing into the mic or playing wrong notes, and a lot of it was a lot of studio production afterwards.
Yeah.
So we really like to hear the raw tracks because I don't think I'd be that impressed otherwise. But they tried to capture that. But they tried to capture that live energy that they were missing out on with the first 4 albums, and Casablanca was failing. As a matter of fact, when they went on tour, that tour cost over $300,000, and I think Casablanca couldn't even afford to cover it. So the owner or CEO actually had to cover it out of his own pocket.
Wow.
Yes, he did, and Bill Aucoin, their manager, funded part of it too.
Right. Okay. All right. I didn't know that. I thought it all came from Neil Bogart, whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah, no, Bill had to kick in. They weren't that confident in them. They were at first, but
and of course, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Part of what led into this was how popular live albums were getting at the time and how much of a live draw they were because, other than Hotter Than Hell, which I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with the production, they tried different things on the first 4 records, and Casablanca was really shocked because they went with a more upbeat, poppy sounding production on Dress to Kill, that the album didn't do anything. Like, they were blown away that Rock and Roll All Night, which didn't sell as a single until they released the live version of it from Alive here.
The worst
single from
song in Kiss history. History. Rock and Roll All Night. So let's rock and roll all night and party every day.
Well, it's better than Shouting Out Loud or Great Expectations.
No way.
What?
It was the most repetitive fucking thing ever.
Oh my gosh! Shout out loud. You don't like shout out
The
loud.
most repetitive thing ever.
Oh, you're terrible.
The audience. The audience
No,
is
I
also
really don't like
doctored in that.
Destroyer.
No, okay.
You think so?
You don't like Destroyer?
Not really, no.
Man, that riff in Almost Human is so fucking badass, and it goes to shit
That's
real quick.
on Love Gun.
Oh, it is Love Gun. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
it's great.
one song I never understood that everybody loved is "Do You Love Me." I hate that song. It's awful.
I like that one too.
I would have loved to heard him do Great Expectations.
No.
What kind of Kiss fan are you?
That was a joke.
One
Learn,
that
learn to
doesn't
read my
appreciate
face,
Bob
goddammit. My
Ezrin
sarcasm
and
plane.
Much like many people in Canada that issued death threats against Bob Ezrin at the time because they were pissed off too.
I like that. I like that
Because
song.
this is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's a 10 out of 10, huh?
Yeah.
Would like to hear the raw tracks. Oh, and I'd also like to hear the tracks where the audience isn't doctored up.
You think the audience is doctored up too?
Yeah, I know it's doctored up.
It is?
Yeah,
I
they've
read it
admitted
was
to it,
completely
yeah.
doctored. Yep.
Well,
They
'cause it-
admitted to that like in the 80s, 83 or something like that. They did an interview and they
Yeah,
admitted that.
I believe what he actually said is the only thing they didn't have to touch up on it was Peter Criss's drums.
Really? That's
Yeah, everything
That's a
else
shame.
down to Ace's guitar solos, there's overdubs everywhere. But like he was saying, a lot of it's because they would miss cues or would come running back and knock over their mics.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not sing into the mic at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, that's funny you mentioned with the crowd noise because I don't remember which song it is, but there's a cut in the album somewhere, and you can tell there's a change in the sound, like a complete change. Do you remember that, Craig?
I think
It's towards
that's
the end of the
during
album.
Cold Gin. Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
might-
is Cold Gin
Yeah.
because he's doing the whole rap about vodka and orange juice, and after he finishes his rap, you can very clearly hear the tape cut, and then
Yeah.
the audience starts cheering.
Well, it was the 70s. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I was like, whoa. But
Sitting there all tweaking out at 3 a.m. trying to
Trying to piece that motherfucker
magnetic
together.
tape back together. Well, close enough. For Kiss fans, nobody will notice. Wrong they were.
Now that album peaked number 9 in the U.S. That
Did
was
it
on the
really?
that was in the Billboard Top 200 for 110 weeks.
wow.
That stayed there for
deserved.
quite a while. Well, again, that was the prime of a lot of Kiss fans. That was their era,
Mm.
Not in my eyes because I liked 80s Kiss a lot better, but until Revenge came along. But yeah, what year did Revenge release? Is that like 92 or something?
92.
92.
Yep, 92.
Okay.
Well, for me, this is really their peak. I know they certainly had albums that sold more, and Kiss Mania was really to come with.
Oh, sorry, Wayne.
Destroyer.
Jeez, right in my face.
Little jumpy there, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm half awake here.
What, just squeeze into your old leather pants and find a little something in the pocket? I've got something in my front pocket for you.
I'm not wearing
Why
pants.
don't you reach into my pocket? Whoa!
Whoa.
Good girl.
Look, I'll
gone
show you.
bad indeed.
Hold on. Good thing it's on YouTube.
Oh, no. I might like Rock Bottom. I might like the song Rock Bottom, but we're not going there.
You were saying, sir.
Me?
Yeah, I can't remember.
No,
now.
Greg. He
That's
doesn't
it.
remember now. But the standout track on.
Oh,
on this,
yeah,
no.
Kiss Mania was more to come with, Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, Alive 2, and Dynasty and all that. But for me, this was the real peak, because this is them still trying to break through and make it, and everything is super catchy and super memorable, and I really don't think there's a bad song on here. You can say what you want about Rock and Roll, and I, quite frankly, I've heard it a few too many times and usually skip. Well, can't say I usually skip it because I usually listen to it on vinyl, but if it was on CD, I would, just because I'm tired of hearing it. But
There are a lot of good songs.
This is just explosive. Whether or not the raw tracks would be better, I'm assuming not.
Doubtful.
This is just a great album, a great just testament to who Kiss was in the early 70s and why they were able to achieve the success they did. A lot of people like to say, oh, it was just image and this and that, and then them following trends, but they worked real hard to get where they were, and they wrote some excellent songs when they did it, like Black Diamond.
Yeah.
Is just such an excellent example. Peter Criss's Motown vocals, which I think are really strong here. He must have been laying off the cocaine that night. Yeah. Oh, yeah, if you want to see something real fun, watch him do Beth in Largo, Maryland in 79.
Yeah.
So coked up he forgets the lyrics and just starts laughing maniacally. It's like, nobody else noticed how creepy this was.
I'm going to have to edit this show and put that in here.
Yeah, this is definitely the album that broke Kiss through for sure. As a matter of fact, they were kicked off a lot of the tour because bands like Argent and Black Sabbath would get shown up by them, and they didn't like that, so they kicked them off the tour.
Yeah, that happened to them a lot.
Yeah.
That's why. If you look at where this was recorded, the Wildwoods Convention Center is actually pretty big. I've been there before. I'm from Jersey, but a lot of these venues are relatively small that they recorded this in because of that. Yeah. Sabbath was a big one. They thought they were just going to show them right up with all the pyrotechnics and stuff, and they cut them off the whole tour.
Yeah, that's not going to happen with Kiss. But the standout track for me is 100,000 Years. That's, they got that drum solo in the middle of the song, and then, they do the whole audience thing and everything. And it's just an awesome song to begin with,
Wayne, we agree. That's my favorite track on the album.
Yeah, and that's really cool shit right there. But, you can't really say nothing about the rest of this album. Like I said, this is the best of, and every song on here is just awesome. So I'm going to Let Me Go Rock and Roll. They could have did without that song, I think.
Sure could have.
Cut it out right after Rock and Roll All Night and, let it be done. But, yeah.
I could just listen to Come On and Love Me on repeat, and that'd be fine. That's one of my favorite Kiss songs, and it's just so... But no, I love it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. What about you, Mr. Unknown from Timeless Haunt?
What about me?
Yeah. Do you not like this Alive album at all?
I like the album. Of course I like the album. Yeah, I like a lot of Kiss albums. I just don't think it's their best one, and I definitely think Crazy Nights is better. I know I'm unpopular here. I know I'm going to lose this battle, but I've made some good points.
You did.
You did, and just out of curiosity, would you say their songwriting got stronger in the 80s at all? Or?
Yeah, much stronger. I think they needed the help of a producer, and I think the producer helped take them to that 80s level. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the cock rock era. I do. I got no problem with it. I had a lot of fun in the 80s, man, and that music was all fun and stirs up a lot of memories from back in the day, as it does with a lot of us. But Yeah, I mean, if you look at it as a straight 80s cock rock album, I thought it was a great fucking album. And if you're looking at the Alive, then yeah, it was one of the greatest albums probably of all time. Definitely in the 70s, for sure. Like I said, we're on two different decades here, which like you said, is odd. But
yeah, it is, and I just find it funny just the difference of opinion because I can't really say it for Crazy Nights. It's mostly just how it was recorded and how lazy some of the performances sound that really drag it down. Other than the fact that I like heavy rock better than I like corporate rock.
Sure.
But on a side, actually, really look it up. Animalize, Asylum all have some very poor, very weak songwriting on them.
Every Kiss album does, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's not one you can say, well, there's not a bad song on the album. Every Kiss album has that one or two songs that just blow.
Yeah.
I can say that almost. I don't dislike anything off of Creatures. There's a couple songs in there that might not be my favorites, but I think every song on that's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's some good shit there. That's awesome. All right. So,
and depending on if I've done LSD recently enough, I also really like every song on The Elder, but that is another story.
Wow.
we got to do
awful.
that on the other show.
Man. What,
The
top 10
Screams
worst,
from the Grave.
Top 10 worst albums ever.
Shut your mouth.
No, but we did do Unmasked for the first one, which I
Oh, you did? Yeah, I
we
like
did.
Unmasked.
Oh, you got it's what makes the world go round, man.
You betcha.
Yeah, when we did that, I hadn't listened to it, and it's been a while, and I actually enjoyed that album more than I thought I would have. There's better songs on there than I remember there being.
On Crazy Nights?
No, on Unmasked.
On Unmasked, okay.
Yeah. Crazy Nights, no. I mean, it's about as good as I remember it. It's got us 4 good or 5 good songs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good songs for me.
My biggest thing was I remembered it being a little bit heavier just because of how good Bruce's guitar is when it's prominent. And that was what mostly shocked me about it.
Yeah.
Well, it was heavy for back then, for sure. Heavy as far as that genre
totally
goes.
is. I mean, anything Poison or Winger or Warrant had out at the time was nowhere near as heavy as No or Hell or High Water.
No.
Yeah. All right. So, what are we going to give Mr. Haunts?
Oh, and I'll give you this, Mr. Hunt.
Mr.
Crazy
Haunts.
Night.
Unknown
Crazy
Haunt.
Nights is much better than Def Leppard's Hysteria.
Oh!
What? Wait, what? I drifted into like outer space for a minute. What did you just say?
Yeah.
This album is better than Hysteria.
Oh, man.
Woo. Oh.
Go ahead, Wayne.
You're fired, sir. You are fucking fired.
That is a fireable offense for sure.
Oh my god.
Whatever. I've got my Kiss records. I don't care. If me getting fired is the only way to stay is me conceding that album might be decent,
Hey, yeah. What can I say? I'm the guy who thought Crazy Nights was the best Kiss album ever, so.
Yeah, that's true. You are fired, and you will continue to not get paid.
Oh.
What are we giving Crazy Nights? I'll let you go, Mr. Unknown Timeless Haunt vocalist guy.
Out of a 10?
Yeah.
I mean, for Kiss albums, it's a 10, but I mean, for an overall album, I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah. I'm doing 5.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's
like
the same
in the middle.
thing I was going to say, 5.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if I was rating it as a Kiss album, especially because I love the earlier stuff and then some of the heavier 80er stuff more, I'd probably give it about a 2. But as an album on its own, it's a 5.
Yeah, no, it has good songs on there, so can't say that about the other ones, but
I wish they had a better producer for it. I don't really agree agree with Nevison's direction. It definitely helped him a lot, but he has a lot of weaknesses that make themselves really apparent here.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? And I was thinking of this earlier. That seems to be like that era in time, like 87, 88. All albums sound that very like thin sound to them. I guess is that like a thing in like during that time? It's like I don't know, weird. Like you got the King Diamond that sounds like that. What else was it? Like 87, 88? Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime was kind of thin.
There's tons. Imaginos is really thin. Yeah.
Just what they had and what we were using, I guess.
They want less bass back then.
I don't think the equipment that we had, a lot of it could handle that kind of bass, and had to kind of make it sound good on everything, and maybe that's what they had to do.
I believe, if I remember right, a lot of it had to do with turning analog into digital. And the differences that were happening in the recording industry.
That is a good point. That was right around that time.
Very interesting.
Because I remember actually reading that in an interview where they were talking about that Blue Oyster Cult album with Sandy Pearlman, and he said the reason it sounded like that is because they were anticipating how it would sound on a compact disc as opposed to a vinyl record. But the technology was relatively new at the time, except to the Japanese.
Understood. Yeah, it's a good point. Very good point.
Why do you think the Japanese one sounds a lot better? I mean, I hear that a lot of times in Japanese albums.
No, they really do. They when they do those, the Japanese branch of the record companies get the original masters and make their own presses from them. So a lot of the times they will sound much fuller than what you've heard. On albums, it's not as noticeable depending on what era you're talking about. You get closer to the end of the 80s, the vinyl starts getting a little bit cheaper, especially in the United States and Canada. So the Japanese albums are a huge improvement. But back in the 70s, there's some Sabbath records where, it sounds warmer and a little bit louder, but the American versions or the UK versions of those still sound pretty good. But I could play my Japanese copy of Queensryche's Rage for Order, and it would just blow you away at how much better it sounds than what we've gotten.
You're just a wealth of information. It's good information, though. It's pretty cool.
That's why I have him on the show. I just start the show and let him talk, and I just, okay, sounds good.
Unless I'm on, then I just cut you off every 5 seconds.
You do that, too. But you also bring your information, too. You know, you bring your A game to the show.
Man. I do my fucking homework.
Everybody picks up.
I'm not going to come on your show. Come on, this is Rat Salad Review, man. This is one of the best fucking metal podcasts out there. I'm not going to come on your show and look like shit in front of you guys. Just like I won't release a bad sounding album. You know, that's my opinion. The album's going to sound good. You may not like the songs, but it's going to sound good.
That's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
Kiss Alive.
Me
10 out of 10.
Sure, you go first.
Of course.
Yeah, of course he's going to give that. I knew that already. But go ahead.
Can I give half marks?
Sure.
Yeah, 6.5. Very close.
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5.
What's in that thing you're smoking there? 10.
What's in this? Only the finest premium AJ Fernandez tobacco you can get. $15.
You have a baseball player growing tobacco for you? That's pretty good. You've earned that velvet robe, I see.
Velvet, yes. It is made of the finest cottons and wools of this side of the fucking Giza Strip.
It is nice. But yeah, that's a 10. So you're wrong. And Alive wins.
You're entitled to your opinion, even though it's wrong. You're entitled to it.
It's right.
I knew I didn't have a chance in hell winning this. I just wanted to bring some points. It is a very underrated album, and I think a lot of diehard Kiss fans never gave it the chance it deserves. And I think they should revisit it because there's some killer shit on there.
Yeah,
I think everybody should listen to it. That's a Kiss fan, just to hear Bruce's work. Because he put so much work into his songs on here. It's honestly a real treat.
Dare I say his playing on that album is very Van Halen like.
Yes, it is. And the song that sounds the most like Van Halen to me, which didn't make the record, but was done by a band called Bonfire from Germany for the Shocker soundtrack, is Sword and Stone, which, ironically, I also think is the best song they wrote for it, but Ron Nevison didn't like it, probably because he couldn't figure out a synth riff for it. So they never recorded it. But there is a demo version out there that everyone should check out on YouTube. Because even though the vocals aren't finished, they sound great. And the production is fairly similar to the finished album. So you get to hear it in context pretty well. And I think it would have worked.
I like Bonfire. Pretty good band. The one album that I like that Bruce Kulick really had a hand in was Carnival of Souls.
Yeah.
Oh, that was his shining moment. That's a great album.
Great album.
Good. Which really technically was never going to be released, and then they, just released it just to get something out there. But I wish it was a little bit more produced, but it's still a really good album.
That would have been a travesty had they not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it got out there, And Bruce has never been given his due.
No.
Anyone. You can have the fucking Tommy Thayer argument as much as you want, but Bruce worked really hard, like Mr. Hunt was explaining. I love saying that, throughout the 80s, to keep the band going and together, because Gene wasn't working with Paul. He was off starring in bad Michael Crichton movies.
Yeah.
Starring Tom Selleck for God knows what reason.
And still collecting the Kiss royalty, which is what pissed Gene off, or what pissed Paul off in the first place. But Gene was a man about it and, owned up to it, and things have been great ever since, for them too, anyway.
Yeah.
Thank God. That's just what we want. All right, now we'd finished the Kiss stuff. Now
we get to the good stuff.
Now we get to the good stuff. And Mr. Unknown.
Fair enough.
So you have a new album coming out very shortly.
Very shortly. Let's just put it this way. We had planned for an October 31st release. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, although I'm holding hope that it might. We're having a little bit of an issue with mixing and mastering because we ran out of time at the studio. Everybody wants to perfect their parts. So, there was some re-records and some things we wanted to finish up on our fourth day, which was just this past Wednesday. 12 hours in the studio. We got all our parts recorded and re-recorded to the way we wanted them to sound. And now it was just off to mixing and mastering. It's going to be an 8-song full-length album.
Very cool.
Our sophomore.
How long is it going to be? Like, how long is the actual album?
I don't fucking know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I would say each track is roughly somewhere around 5 minutes, and there you go, about 45 minutes or so.
All right, cool.
There's nothing too long on there. I think it's just the perfect length for a full length in this day and age with people's ADD and lack of ability to concentrate.
Yeah.
I love the album. It's we're definitely coming into our own. It's going to sound a little bit different than the first album. There's more element of classic metal in it. I think you're going to hear, even though we were trying to do our own thing, what we're hearing comparisons of are Sabotage, Merciful Fate. You're definitely going to hear my vocals more up in the Sean Peck stratosphere. And I have been taking lessons again. As you know, I stopped singing for about 8 years after my last project from way back, which I'm not going to mention because then you'll know who I am. And we don't want anybody to know who I am. Ooh, spooky. So I am taking lessons from Ken Tamplin, who is like the premier rock metal vocal coach guy. It's helped a lot. It's brought me back to where I was at and even better, in my opinion. So I think you'll dig it. There's a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and a lot of mids, and I'm kind of all over the place, and that's just how I like it.
Awesome. Very cool.
I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I heard the one track that you actually are going to give me, and I'm going to put on the end of this episode here, because you're releasing a little video for it, right?
Yeah, just a little visualizer, and it's called Embrace the Haunt.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really enjoy it, and I can hear the progression in the band from where you started with the first EP, and now onto this, and there's a lot of
It's more up tempo, and even though we tried to, in the first album, the focus was just because we can doesn't mean we should. We really tried to expand upon good songwriting. So just because we can play everything 1,000 miles an hour and shred the entire time, and me singing way up here all the time, I don't think it makes for a good album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to write memorable songs, and I think we achieved a certain sound, and now we just needed to kind of progress on that, and that's where we're at now. So you're going to hear more. You're going to hear some blast beats in this, and some more double bass, and some more up tempo stuff, but also some slower, creepier ambience. And we have a. You're going to kill me for this. We have two ballads in this album. 2 ballads with 8 songs. Well, one. You're gonna rip me for that. We write a mean ballad. We did not write the second one, and I'm going to reveal what that second song is, because you're all going to know this. We redid a cover, and that cover is from Chris Isaak. Oh, can you guess the song? Yes, I can. What is it? I can't think of the name. Oh, Wicked Games. Wicked Game. Wicked Game. We redid it to our liking. Added a lead, some piano, some different kind of vocals in there. Wow. Makes for an interesting, atmospheric song. I really like that song. I know. Who chose it? Me. You chose that one? It was my choosing, yep. Interesting. Very interesting song to cover. I chose it. We all agreed to do it. And I used to hate that song when it came on MTV. Yeah, but it was fun to watch. Yes, that was the only good part of the whole song. That video was fun to watch. Yeah. I like the tune. So I don't know how it's going to be received. Whatever. I like it. I think it's cool. I like that. I don't know if you like Him, the band Him. I don't know. No, I don't. Did you ever hear that cover? What, Wicked Game? They did Wicked Game? Man, I thought we beat everybody to the punch there. Nope. Shit. He did a good job on it? Yeah, I think so, yeah. I end up liking that song because of that version. But I can't wait to hear your version, because now I'm going to have to see if I like Him's version or your version better. All right. Well, first of all, Timeless Haunt should get the nod immediately. No, I'm not going to do it. Just for the fact that their musicianship is miles above Him to begin with. Oh, thank you. I don't know who the fuck Him is, really. I've only heard you don't need songs, but I appreciate it. Just don't compare us to Ghost. Oh, well, I was going to say that next. Don't you fucking dare. I will drive to Long Island, and we're going to have a little talk. Who lives in Long Island? No, nobody here on this show. Nobody lives in Long Island. I don't know. No idea what you're talking about. But I might have to cut that part out. Yeah. No, I've mentioned that on the show many times. All right, so we're going to play your Embrace the Haunt. Embrace the Haunt right now. Teaser thing, and we will see you guys next time. And please check out Timeless Haunt's Facebook and your website. TimelessHaunt.com. Yep. Listen to the EP. And be on the lookout for the album. It will be released on Stormspell Records, but you can also buy it through the band as well. Absolutely. So keep an eye out on that. And we will see you guys next time. RatSaladReview.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. Subscribe, share, and like everything. And we will see you. Goodbye.
Bye.